Well, over the last few months, we've heard a lot of sad and bad stories of bullying, harassment in our workplace, in our society, and sadly, even in our parliaments. And sometimes we hear of juveniles as young as 10 and 11 stealing cars, doing all sorts of things, attacking people. 10 and 11. I mean, where do they actually learn this sort of behaviour? I know you could say they watch American TV shows and all that, but surely where is the parental and indeed school reinforcement of these things? Do they learn when they do something wrong that they shouldn't do it again? Most do. But schools really are at the forefront and the epicentre of what is a huge blight that's occurring right now in our society. We drop our children off at school. It's meant to be a safe place. It's meant to be a place where parents can send their kids off to learn things, so lessons taught, but also the lessons that are caught, you know, the interactions you have with others, other students, and of course also the examples that are set by teachers. We all remember that. We all remember that. The good teachers, the bad teachers. You know, school really is a full dress rehearsal for later in life. And I personally remember very fondly the one that gave me the cane in year 3. He would probably go to jail now. Also remember the one that threw the piece of chalk at me in year 3. Year 3 was sort of the bad 4 years of my life. But look, most schools have uniforms, of course, to enforce the idea that there's a code of conduct. You belong to a school community. It's also meant to enforce the idea that there's an equality of opportunity. No matter who you are, if you're wearing that uniform, you have the opportunity to learn. Now, some will lag, some will muck up, some will study really, really hard, despite the fact that others might laugh at them, and some, of course, will coast through, and some, well, they take on leadership positions. They come innovative in their own ways, their own ideas, nurtured by teachers. Well, that's certainly the way I always saw it. Some will win as a result of going to school, and some, frankly, will set themselves up to lose, and unless they fix themselves up later, will be losers all of their life. School, you see, was meant to give structure, was meant to give a shape, a form, a foundation, a direction, as well as the information that comes out of the textbooks. But now we seem to be suffering a dumbing down. Too many kids are going to school and becoming antisocial, they're becoming divisive in their own families, going home and telling mum and dad, you can't tell me that. I'm going to ring Kids Helpline. I'm going to dob you in for daring to tell me to eat my dinner or sending me off to the bedroom as some sort of punishment. And of course, overachievement, well, it seems to be dissuaded. Every child player right now in our schools seems to be entitled to a prize. There's no rewarding of great. And there's no punishing of really bad. And on top of this, so many of our best teachers only get paid more by actually leaving the classroom and becoming administrators, taking their love and their passion of engaging with and encouraging the next generation. But to get a decent pay, they have to go off and count light bulbs and toilet rolls and run the schools. I don't think we reward the efforts of our great teachers well enough, and I've thought that for a long, long time. Worse still, schools are becoming very violent places in themselves. And it's not just simply like we've seen on American television, but we're very close to it in Australia. This week we've seen stabbings in Sydney schools, fights in Queensland schools, and there are plenty of stories of teachers being assaulted by students. It is happening. And all too often, with the system itself suppressing the penalties that should be applied against those who are actually doing the wrong thing. What sort of lessons does it teach our kids? All too often, of course, one thing some kids learn is how to get away with doing wrong by others. Getting away with stuff seems to be one of the things that too many students take out of their time at school. And on top of this too many self-declared education experts are now deliberately dumbing down the syllabus. They want to dumb down further traditional values. They want to dumb down further our traditions as a nation, as a Western society. And they also want to dumb down the sort of society norms that have normally been the way in which people have checked their behaviour. That seems to be the priority of these so-called education experts, and too many of them have this destructive agenda. They're experimenting with our children. And a lot of our teachers are caught completely in this crossfire. Keen to know what you think. #Hardgrave if you're going to tweet. You can also write directly to me, Gary.Hardgrave@skynews.com.au.